Took in the building.
Hi, thank you.
And of course,
Did we lose Janelle? She's frozen on my screen.
Yeah.
I like it. How's everybody's spring going? Is weather hitting out for y'all? Nice. I gotta help my dad pull I gotta help my dad pull his lawnmower out soon. That's fine. She'll get it together in a second. I'm up in Cleveland, Ohio.
And I'm down in Chesapeake, Virginia. I got my best friend's from Cleveland. He's a diehard Browns fan.
Oh, my condolences. I don't do that to myself. I watch the Browns twice when they play the Steelers and whenever we're in the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
I watched a lot last year.
Yeah, we did.
okay. All right. I am so sorry. I have no idea why this happens on my computer. So I know never to use my computer again. Just never. I'm definitely going to continue to just use my cellular devices because this is ridiculous. Okay. We are back. So definitely speeding through the show today. Everybody, welcome to the Legato. Like I said, we got Dwayne Duke and Joseph Curtis joining us today. I'm sorry, Joseph Curtis Williams joining us today. Lord, sorry, let me stop butchering your name. Can you correct me?
You can just call me Joe.
Joe, because I'm like, do you want me to do the middle name, last name, and then nickname? I could be like JoJo. It's a lot. Okay, we got it. All right, I'm back, y'all. All right.
Oh, he JoJo and you down in KC?
Right, exactly.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
You remind me of my Jeep.
Listen, that clip keeps popping up of them when they were in that studio. I just listen, it just applies to every day in life for some reason. I love it. It is hilarious. So of course I just want to spend a moment to say rest in peace to the legendary and the iconic DMX, man. For everybody in my generation, that is just a hard hit for us and just everybody associated with it. So, I mean, I just know a lot of people who just were influenced by that whole culture of rap and music. I mean, it's just hard to see somebody go, first of all, but then just, seeing him and what he battled with, it definitely is one of those situations where I am just blown away. So I just definitely wanted to say that out loud. And I have been on a Rough Riders binge. Let me tell you, I was a thug at a very early age. I don't think I should have been listening to some of that music at 13, 14, 15 years old. But here we are today.
You made it through. You made it to adulthood.
Yeah, and I really don't have like any felony or assault charges pending or on me or
I do love how you
associated.
have that caveat of pending first.
Yeah.
Right. He's
What
working
about a
on it.
sponge? Nothing expunged either?
No, nothing is expunged. I was about to say, like, I'm doing
Okay.
good. I'm doing
Okay.
good. Like when I say I'm blessed and highly favored, yeah, I'm blessed and
Yeah.
highly favored. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So coming to America too. I am still on this coming to America too glow. I can't get it off. I can't let it go. It has definitely been a great experience for me. Like I said, I was just very excited because it was actually included in Prime. They didn't hit you with the Disney Plus exclusive where you had to, pay extra. That just blessed my soul. But are y'all still watching it, or have y'all watched it yet? Please tell me you watched it, Lord.
Yeah, I've watched. I watched it twice. So
Okay.
I'm a big Eddie Murphy fan. The Coming to America, the first one, is my favorite movie of all time. So I was excited to see this one, and I was very pleased with it. I loved it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. What about you, Dwayne?
To this day, I have not seen either.
I told you last show, right, that you were going to get this in order. Now I got to smoke a cigarette.
I have. I don't know. I'll make some time. I've had time. I haven't seen it. I'm also boycotting Amazon at the moment because Jeff Bezos is ruining the world. So it makes me less likely to see something that's only on that network. I wish I could be like, oh yeah, no, I got to do this, but Bezos is there and he's a problem. And a friend of mine released a film on Amazon Prime recently. You worked with him, Samson McCormick. He released his film, and I was like,
yeah,
I gotta watch it because Samson works really hard, but like Bezos also gets a piece of this, and the first 45 minutes of the movie went by, but I was just like in my head going, well, am I doing this for the culture of my friend, or am I like paying Jeff Bezos's salary right now? And
you are definitely doing it for the culture of your friend. Do not. Also, the guilt that has just overwhelmed me with the fact that you are literally making me feel like, oh my God, I should not order another package.
You could go through and find it on Amazon, and then find the small company that produces it and have them send it to you directly.
But is it still the Prime 2-day turnaround? Because if it's not, I'm a psycho killer. Like I'm a serial killer. Like that's not even conducive to being American.
You can't wait an extra day and a half for some cheap Chinese crap that's going to break.
Absolutely not, sir. That is the purpose of Prime. That is the purpose of being an American Prime and using somebody's Prime account privileges.
As long as it's somebody's account, as long as it's like a communal thing where you're like, we're only one person that's paying, but we're all using it.
I definitely am using someone else's account, and I apologize, but what can I do?
All right, well, that's like taking money out of his pocket, so it's a win-win.
Okay,
There you go.
bet. So we have learned a very valuable lesson today is that if we go ahead and stretch out our pockets um to someone else's pockets and we use our other individuals' accounts on Prime, that we shall forth blessed in the boycott.
Yeah.
Boycott.
So essentially, I'm an activist by using my auntie's Amazon or Prime account.
Yeah, that's what we'll use. We're gonna say activist.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a
Thank you.
stretch.
Thank
That's
you.
a stretch, but I'll go with
I'm an activist.
She didn't even have to limber up to make that leap. I'm proud of her.
I mean, I really feel guilty. You know what? I'm an empath, and so I suffer from like feeling like, you know, I'm doing something wrong, you know, by using that account, you know, or using Amazon. You done told me that. Now I feel like I'm doing something really bad.
I mean, hopefully the laws change and they pay taxes and their employees get better rights, and then I can go back to using Amazon because I would love to get the 2-day shipping. I would love all these things, but the way they treat their employees, the way they treat the nation, by not paying taxes, they are stealing from all Americans.
Yeah.
By underpaying employees so that they can't pay taxes, so that they have to live off of government subsidies, they are stealing from all of America.
Oh Lord, well, we have been educated today, child. He had okay, listen. Let me so I just saw something hilarious today that just had me listen. The 3 places that I'm not going is back and forth, out of my way, and labor and delivery, right? Hilarious. I think that is just, I was cracking up. I could not like, I stand for this, especially in 2021 with not wasting your energy. And I know a lot of people are like, crystals don't throw hands, crystals don't throw hands, you know. So I really appreciated that sentiment. I think that's the best thing, especially with what's going on with the situation in Georgia, child. I just highlighted this Georgia girl. What are you doing?
You
so how do y'all? How do y'all feel about the voter suppression laws that have now been passed in Georgia?
I think Georgia has. I think we need to, as one, decide where we're relocating the citizens of Atlanta to. Atlanta and Austin need to take over a different state and just leave Georgia and Texas behind and let them fend for themselves. That's what they want. We need to figure out what's going on in Georgia. It's a test. It's a test to see how far things can go, how much, how far they can push before we push back.
Now, what are the? I'm unfamiliar with the details of that that was passed. I know they had, I'm got a general idea. So can you share what a little bit more the details are on that?
Basically, in a gist, they have essentially, like, they now require ID, which that has been a huge issue in the South with actually having all the identification to be present. They have eliminated a lot of ballot or early voting. They've closed that window, so you have less time to send your ballots in. And I think they've also lessened a significant amount of the drop boxes to drop those ballots off to. And another huge thing was that they have now made it a crime to pass out water or food to people in voter lines. It's critical. Like, a lot of the things they've done is definitely suppress voters. When you see a lot of people are moving from dropping a lot of the laws that suppress voters as far as felons and things like that, or people with a past record who can't vote in certain situations like that. So it is very, very, very janky, which I love the power moves that people are making now. I just saw a huge breaking story that Will Smith's movie Emancipation their production has pulled out of Georgia. The MLB pulled out their
the
All-Star game as well.
Also the draft.
So
that was like 2 months of work. MLB put out the All-Star game. They put out the draft. The Braves are still going to hold their honoring of Hank Aaron that weekend anyway, but it's going to disproportionately impact professional Black people over other groups, because Atlanta is where a lot of Black people flock to, because it was like, oh, this is a safe space. This is a place where I can, be a professional and still get to keep my ethnicity and my heritage. And companies are leaving. Companies are being impacted. Like, so Georgia voted to get rid of Delta's tax break. What do you think Delta's going to do in return?
Exactly. Those flights are going to go up. They're going to lay off people.
Delta's going to find a new hub. They're going to find a new city that's like, oh,
well, and that's what I was hoping. I felt like if Delta made that move, that would be a huge, you know what I'm saying? Huge stance.
I also feel like looking at Georgia outside of Atlanta, like the state as a whole, they're okay with their government cutting off their nose to slight their face, because we're standing up for what's right, and America first, and God bless America, and make America great again, and MAGA and Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene and all these other people who are like just holding the nation back because they're A, bigots, B, stupid, and C, they have too much power and no one checking them.
Wow. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that it's I don't know, like I've always had that grudge with Texas. I never really paid attention to Georgia moves, and it's weird. You know what I'm saying? It's very weird to know, especially with it being the entertainment capital, and just seeing you assume that there's just tons and tons of Black people and culture. It's weird to associate it with it being a red state, and that's how I kind of felt about Texas as well.
Yeah, it's those big blue dots and very large red seas.
Yeah. It's the same essentially for where I live in Kansas City. So absolutely. Well, let's get down into it, y'all. Let's get into some funny, because that got serious. It got real serious, like real deep, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes, and that's another thing that's been a big topic of conversation about as comedians, like that pressure of being funny, but also being responsible and, using your voice to bring some awareness to situations, because essentially sometimes we do hold that power. But then I remember David Chappelle saying, hey, ain't nobody looking for us on information. You know what I'm saying? We just supposed to be funny. That ain't our job to educate people or give them a political influence. So, but I mean,
he
Dwayne,
also said $200 come see me in a pandemic. So
boom. And I ain't got it, Dave. I'm not making money like that yet. Notice I said yet, because the power of these jokes, man. I keep seeing that meme about Steve Harvey. Like, I used to make $25 for these jokes, and I told the same jokes. So the comedian in me is like, wait a minute, did he use the same set? Or did he, like, wait a minute, because I don't think we could do that, man. We would not make it, Steve. We would not make it.
Steve didn't have people posted up in the back recording his set on their Boost mobile phone to share on Instagram without tagging you.
Ooh, child, listen, that whole phone situation stresses me out, which brings me to another point about subscribing to apps. This is a whole total segue. I apologize. But I have recently jumped in and has subscribed to Paramount, because I wanted to binge watch The Real World, which brings me back to this whole, like, camera and phone situation, because I essentially feel like I'm in the real world now if I am at a show outside of a comedy club, because comedy clubs don't play that. They'll Suge Knight you and come across the room like, hey, put it up. But when you do those self-produced shows, you essentially become a real world cast member doing your set, like, and it dry, especially when people have their flash on. Oh my God, what are you doing?
A woman once, like, I called her on it. She goes, "Don't worry, you doing all right?" And I was like, I know, I wrote this. I know what happens next.
Right. Right.
Don't worry, I got this under control. Jeez.
I just
So
want you to put your phone down.
thank you. Like sometimes I feel like I have constructed my Spanx and so of which to carry me through this show without like, outside attraction. Like so it's just the theater and the lights or the club stage and the lights. Like I don't need your extra light. Like I didn't prepare. My girdle is not prepared for that. Like don't do that. Like
Right.
I'm
Right.
not
What if I ate
ready.
before I came on stage? What if things are jiggling where I want them tight?
Yeah. Or what if this is the show? I have my
Yeah.
mental breakdown.
Yeah.
What if this is the show?
Right.
Or what if this is the show? I have my mental breakdown because you are now paparazziing me. You are essentially being a gynecologist with your cell phone light, you know.
Right. And for me, for a big guy, all I want you to see is a silhouette anyway. I don't want you to see the whole profile. So, from the shoulders up, that's all you need to see. My legs are not doing anything, you know?
Absolutely. Like
Yeah.
mind your business. And that's all I need people to do in these situations. People are way too willy-nilly with these cell phones. But also I feel very flattered that people are filming me sometimes. I do have that moment where I'm like, oh, okay, let me get really good, let me give it my all because who knows if Tyler Perry joins their lives,
Oh, if you film
You,
me, it is straight up crowd work for the rest of the time your phone is up and I'm making fun of you.
that's a good idea. That
Uh,
is a good
I will
idea.
clown you from the hair to the shoes and the messed up nails, ma'am. What are we doing? That is my game.
Note to the world. Please have your feel before you come for Dwayne. do
Definitely.
not be do not be 2 weeks in and he sees those cuticles, girl, because he's going in.
How
He's
you gonna tell me what to
going
do? You can't even
in.
control your fingers.
Yes, absolutely. I freaking love it. So I am digging some funny stories on the internet. Of course, y'all know this is all about hilarity. One of the things that I saw that had me cracking up is the University of Kentucky, which I love Kentucky, especially by way of Dwayne. You introduced me to the wonderful world of it doing, your comedy festival, the Midwest Queer Comedy Festival. Pew, 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 pew. We had a good old time. Like I really enjoy Kentucky. It is a very fascinating place. Their highways though is not for you. And I learned this because we got so frustrated with driving and manipulating, trying to get from place to place that we started getting Ubers and our Uber drivers would ask for directions. And we're like, no, girl, this is
Wow.
not our ministry. This is what you were supposed to.
This is
This is
your
why we
city.
summoned you. Yeah, it's your city. So this is what I like to call this the story of what had happened was the University of Kentucky mistakenly sent out like 500,000 acceptance letters to high school seniors for a program that specifically only accepts about 3 dozen students a year. So oops. So it sucks because I know these kids live in a generation of when they get accepted to college, they like boom, they posting on social media, like bow, 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 so it sucks because in less than 24 hours, they had to basically rescind that. Now, what is funny and hilarious about this story to me is like majority of the people that they sent it to are like people who never applied for this school. So it's like either they may have expressed interest or they Googled. Like they Googled the University of Kentucky, or just something random, like, how algorithms work and all that crazy crap. Now, some people who would actually express interest and who are applied are like ticked off, because like I said, this is a program that only accepts like 3 dozen students. So I mean, like, girl, Kentucky, what had happened was hey, you guys, what do you say? Like, hey, sorry, P.S. Y'all didn't make it.
You ever work in admissions in college? Like when I was in college, I worked in the admissions department as a part-time job. And there are stacks upon stacks of files, and now it's all digital. So it's like it's terabytes upon terabytes of files from years and years past, and it's just every time you're at a college fair and someone signs up for something, or every time like they go on your website, they give you an email. Someone clicked the wrong file, sent the mass email out. It was all formatted to go right, and 500,000 people later, they're like, "Whoops!" Bet they'll
That
mail them
just
Hogwarts letters next year.
listen. I mean, and then the people who get accepted, I'm up in there like, do we get some blood sneakers? Because we made it, you know. Like, we I mean, could you imagine the flex that's about to happen with that situation? That is hilarious to me. So the next story I think is hilarious is this guy. I don't know if y'all heard about this story. I like to call this petty with a purpose. A Georgia man received his final paycheck in 90,000 oil-soaked pennies. From a past disgruntled employer who experienced a change for better. They sent a letter to him with a pile of pennies in his driveway and attached a letter that literally said F you.
Wow.
It's just a whole bunch, and it was an auto workshop or whatever. It's crazy. You know, I'm like, how do you even go through the levels of doing that? But bless this guy's heart and Coinstar. I don't know if y'all have ever experienced Coinstar, but I've used Coinstar before. And it's hilarious that somebody took the time to actually like try to wash off these pennies, like, and you know, he had to bring it in a wheelbarrow and, you know, basically give him his money. So he got 91,000 out of it. I think they sent him like $91,515. So nuts. The guy who actually assisted in washing them said that he probably only got like $5 worth of washing up in that thing, but hilarious, I think.
The level of
Petty,
pettiness to do that. That is
petty,
th-
petty with a
90
purpose.
were they
90,000 pennies is
so my question is,
$900.
were the pennies rolled or were they just loose? So they were
No,
loose.
I don't know. That's
But if they were
crazy.
all
I don't even.
soaked, then they probably were loose.
They were
I
loose,
don't know.
probably loose. That
That's and what bank gave that to them? Because you know they didn't have that in their little kids' piggy bank for them to bust and get all those pennies. So they had to go to some bank
right.
to get that.
I'm definitely sure they had to go, and this had to be something done over a period of time.
Yeah.
But that is, I mean, I'm with it though. Like, I am definitely with the amount of pettiness is because I mean, you have to be mad at somebody. And I just
Hey,
think that if you it's well done. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
Yeah.
well done.
But
It's
but there's
brilliant.
a difference between
that's
pettiness and just like
$900 and 485
yeah,
pounds.
$900. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
485 pounds of pennies. That like
Yeah.
you didn't crack your back, slipped your disc, all because you hate him.
Man, that's my 600-pound life. That's what I keep thinking. I'm trying to equate
Yeah.
that to. That's crazy.
But there's a
So I
difference
want to,
between petty and psycho, though. That's a little psycho to do that to me.
but that's when petty works the best. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's when petty works the
Yeah.
best. Is
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you're psycho. Like when you like just vindictive, like that's a Libra. I'm a Libra. You know, like we're very mechanical. We don't want to do no temporary stuff. You know what I'm saying? So when we mad and you push us to that level because we are so
Right.
balanced
Mm-hmm.
that once you do it, we are like, oh no, I got to ruin your social security number, baby. Like that is where we at.
All right, don't tip the
Right.
So
scales.
yeah, do
Right.
not tip the scales. Okay. So let me not talk too much about myself because I actually am trying to pursue people.
Hold on, I got one for you. Next time you go to their house, move everything 4 centimeters to the left.
That is fun. I would just like to do that for just, you know, giggles.
Oh,
Like, because I'm
you'll break
petty.
toes.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank
Wow.
you. Thank you. Okay, so let's get into you wonderful people on this wonderful show today. Dwayne, let me jump into you because you have two podcasts right now, which is Catching Up with Dwayne and a different podcast, which is Your Spin and Twist. And it's a limited series on the wonderful show of A Different World. So give me the deets and details of both podcasts. Let's tap into what you're doing.
So during the panorama last year in the middle of the bread bowl, I was like,
The
I
bread
was
bowl.
I was catching up on things, and I was like, where is one? Like, I missed a lot of pop culture over the last decade of being on the road. I was like, oh, I'll like, I'm not the biggest movie buff, and I only watch like 4 TV shows, and there was all these things that I missed that so I decided to catch up, and that turned into catching up with Dwayne, where like I talked to one of my friends, and we would like talk about a TV show that I missed, or like talk about a movie that I missed, and then we just talk about whatever's happening in the past week. So like this week, I'm talking with a friend of mine, and we're because I'm coming back from hiatus. I'm talking with a friend of mine. We're gonna talk about like Lil Nas X and I don't even know what else. Whatever happens in the next 48 hours is fair game. And then we'll talk about TV and music and movies and travel, and just like it's a pop culture mess around show, and it's fun. And
Okay.
from that came the idea, well, why is no one talking about A Different World? Like, I am subscribed to a Gilmore Girls podcast, 4 Simpsons podcasts, 2 movie podcasts
Wow.
about hating movies, and I could not find anyone talking about A Different World. And I was like, this was a huge part of my childhood. This was a huge part of like a part of my culture. Like, and no one's discussing it. And I was like, maybe if I do it, then in a year or so, somebody will come along and they'll do it better. And then someone will come along and do it better than them. So
Okay.
I know mine isn't the best, but it's the best available now.
And that show has so many layers, from the characters, where are they now, to the behind the scenes, and of course the creator, and all the controversy with that. So I mean, it could go on and on and on. You might have to not make that a limited series. You might bring it back a part 2, just because,
We're talking
honey,
about
the scandal.
season 2 start. I start taping episodes for season 2 next week, and then it'll be up in May. Very excited.
Okay.
Very excited to get started. Season 1 was really fun. It was a bit of a slog because you have to get through all the stories with Denise and pretend that we love Lisa Bonet, but we hate Denise. Zoe Kravitz is
Right.
the series.
Right.
Pretty much.
Okay. I think everybody had like a love hate with her, but not into well, because I still love her. So let me ask you this: as far as being a comedian, do you have the pressure of feeling like your podcast has to be comedic, or any genre of podcast you delve into has to have like this comedic presence? Because I'm a true crime goo, like that's really the only thing I absorb. So how do you feel as a comedian you balance that?
My podcast is mostly me talking with my friends, so it's me gonna mess around. I have a list of topics that I have to get to, and I have like bullet points and notes, but it's messing around. It's we're gonna kick back, we're gonna have some fun, we're gonna talk about the episode or talk about whatever happened this week. My favorite thing, and I've noticed that I do it on my podcast, is I'll get real close to my microphone and I'll talk a little slower and a little quieter, like I'm telling the person I'm talking to a secret, forgetting that I'm going to publish this.
Yeah. Okay. So with Catching Up with Dwayne, do you do, kind of balance both, or you just, because you are a very serious person. So sometimes I feel, I mean, because you literally have me in my like, let me just delete this Amazon app, Lord. At least like, you know, do a cleanse, do a 30-day cleanse or something, you know, give it up for Lent, you know, like.
I just placed the order today. I'm like, oh God.
Oh Lord, go cancel it. Go cancel it, Joe. Cancel it.
Oh no, get your products because you're still employing people in your community.
Absolutely, because the Amazon driver in my neighborhood is fine, and he does appreciate me
Lord.
being outside to grab my package, so he don't have to waste his time coming in the building. So I mean, like, you know, it's boosting endorphins for both of us, you know.
Hey, Miss
So
Lady.
yeah, hey, you know, so that's
Damn, it's
awesome. So
awesome.
right, that is exactly how I feel when that young man drops off that package. You know, who knew I would be a cougar at 36, but it's happening, Lord. So Joe, Joe, I have met you on Facebook. So this is actually our first time meeting face to face, the virtual face to face. And it's amazing because I love it because you are a very, what we like to call a clean comic, you know. You don't be out there dropping F-bombs and talking about people's edges, and if you do it for the Lord.
Right. Praise God.
Yes, but you have a podcast called The Living Life Show, which you spell life Lyfe. I love it. It's very urban. I feel urban with it. So let us know more about you and also where, you know, your podcast platform is on and what you know, discuss and cover in this show.
Well, the Living Life show consists of myself and two other hosts. Um, Rain, she is a motivational speaker, and actually, my pastor is the other host. He's also a DJ, and so
Okay.
we come up with, you know, just random topics, maybe something that's going on currently in the news, or something seen on social media, and then we get a little serious with other topics, you know, talking about like parenting and what children go through today, and you know, different things like that. You know, a lot of people think because my pastor's up there that we always talking about God or he's preaching. It's nothing like that. I mean, it's just basically clean, and you know, it has maybe a Christian foundation, but we don't spend time talking about, you know, turn to your neighbor and all that kind of stuff. We don't, you know, we don't do anything like that. So we talk about anything. We are getting to start our second season. You can find us on Spotify, Living Life Show. And this season is coming up. I'm looking forward to it because we're going to kind of venture out a little bit. We want to kind of support and recognize some African American owned businesses, and you know, record from there. So I love it. I mean, you know, yeah, it's going pretty good too. Yeah.
I like it. It's giving me like Joe Budden vibes with the Lord. Like I like it because like I know the pressure of having a pastor on there, but the pastor, I've never heard of a pastor being a DJ, and now I need to meet him because like I'm like, you know, yes, because I admire DJs, like especially, you know, this is the brunch and dance generation. So I love when a DJ can like literally slide like Kurt Franklin in the, you know, spin, and I'm like, you know, I'm here for it. We here for it. Let's go mimosas in Christ, you know. And I I
I
love
am deceased.
I am deceased. Yes, mimosas in Christ. That feels like it should be on a shirt because that's what we're doing on Sundays, right?
Yeah.
So especially with virtual church, we are worshiping in the end of mimosas and the champagne, grapefruit. Come on, first Sunday, let's get it. Communion and mimosas and communion. Yes, yes. And you might really need the bread of Christ to sober up because cheap champagne ain't gonna do it for you. But I love that vibe that it kind of sets with it being a pastor on there. Now, do you feel this sometimes as a, you know, comedian that you can't say, you know, touch certain subjects or bother them just because, you know, you might not get past the DJ past the.
Well, I don't feel that way. You know, there's some of course that he may shy away from a little bit, or he may not just speak on it. He let us just go and say whatever. But whatever we was discussed, however we talk about it, it's still, we don't cross that line anyway.
Okay.
So for the most part, he's good with everything we discussed. So we're good. Yeah.
Okay. So I definitely, like, I feel horrible because I'm definitely gonna go subscribe to y'all podcast and listen because I need a break. I'm psycho. I literally only listen to like true crime podcasts, and what gets weird about true crime podcasts is they try to be humorous, you know? So it's like dead bodies. So get this, like, he severed the head, right? But this only happens like the bone. It's just crazy the way they,
Right.
try to provide a sense of humor. Some of my favorite, Generation Y, which is actually a Kansas City based podcast, which is huge. Like, it's a huge podcast, internationally known, and I'm just fascinated with it because it's, these guys are from Kansas City. But the stories that they have and the details, it's just incredible. Like, it blows my mind, and they just have this sense of humor that is so, like, like, it's okay, it's just mass murders, that never hurt anybody, and so I love,
I mean, this is America. Mass murder does happen to everybody.
right. I mean, clearly we have been on a roll lately. It is nuts. It's like snow, spring, bop, 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 bop. It's nuts. We really need to write new Christmas carols, as far as I'm concerned. What are some of the podcasts that y'all listen to? Like, what are some of y'all top, like, if you had to name top 5? I'm obsessed with Joe Budden. I'm just going to put that out there. So my podcasts are Joe Budden, The Read, because they make fun of Joe Budden. So what are y'all favorite podcasts?
Well, I've heard Joe's before, but I don't. A lot of times I don't have a chance to listen to as many as I like, So because I'm always the podcast is a big part of what I do, but I still gotta be up on writing and trying to find new material and stuff like that. So I might bounce on and off from time to time, but I don't really have. I can't say one that's my favorite, I guess.
Okay. What about you, Dwayne?
Okay, so I listened to one called My Dad Wrote a Porno. It's
my God!
It's a British podcast, and they read one of the anchor's father's erotic literature. They read one chapter at a time. It is hilarious. It's the worst intercourse I've ever heard, but it's such a funny podcast, and he put his whole soul into this, and it's hilarious.
So it's like the follow-up to Bridgerton, I imagine. Like, it's like it's the script to Bridgerton. If you
it's reading an early draft of something. You're like,
right, definitely
get rid of all of this.
Add a black guy, it'll be fabulous.
So I listen to that. I listen to We Hate Movies. That's a movie podcast where each week they rip apart a movie. And I love it. I love it because, like, that's what I listen to when I drive, and I drive all over the country. So I go through podcasts and audiobooks because it's just nice to have another voice in the car. Otherwise, it's just me and the jokes that I'm writing, but I'm going too fast to sit down and write them.
Hilarious. I definitely enjoy. There's another podcast that I enjoy by two comics called the Happy Corner podcast. The lady named Amy and KB, hilarious. They're on Twitch, and they ask these questions that are so hilarious. Basically, it's like a question about each person gives you a group of Disney characters you would want to be trapped somewhere with, and you have to select like which Disney character you represent, and it really gives you food for thought. And then the discussion behind it, like, well, you should have went with Tinkerbell because Tinkerbell has the ability to do this. It is hilarious. Wow. So I
could never
check it out. It's hilarious. Check it out. It's a lot of, comedians that do podcasts. And I know with the panorama, the panty, as I like to call it, a lot of podcasts have been the product of it, if you will, people being at home, which is the perfect thing to do, I believe. If you're trapped in the house, why not? But some of the research that goes into these podcasts, I commend you. So Dwayne, having a, subject base, specific podcast, that pressure, like, do you ever feel the pressure to, have to have correct material? Like, do you feel like somebody's going to come back check you, or just like going through the motions of finding information, or, making it, presentable to put on a podcast?
With the a different podcast, it's easier to put that podcast together because I talk about a specific episode from a specific season. So like if you wanted to follow along, you could watch the episode and then listen to the discussion.
Okay.
Wikipedia has a bunch of information. IMDb has a bunch of information. I do a deep dive on like one of the guest stars. We call them like alumni of the week or whatever, and just
Okay,
go through and
nice.
see who it is and what they turned out to be. Like who was it? Oh, there's a guest star recently, or there's an episode that I did recently. It was the one where Gladys Knight guest starred on
Okay.
the episode. And there's a woman who's introduced as a character, and she has a wild career and like a fantastic life, and she's married to Billy Blanks. And these are all things that I learned. Yeah, she's
Wow.
Oh
married to
wow.
Tybo. She's married to 1, 2, 3 firecracker Tybo.
Yeah.
Billy Blanks Jr.
Who's making a comeback?
Yes. You saw him in that Geico commercial?
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, come on, get the check.
Also, we just keeping arms at 60. That's what we doing now, because I'm in my 30s and you're making me feel like I got to keep this.
Right.
I was giving up at 35, honestly. That's the halfway point. I'm done.
So
Listen,
I got a question. I got a question for you, Dwayne, because how far have you gotten into the different world? I mean, because the episode that I want to hear discussed is when Dwayne Wayne came in there and stopped that wet. That is the one, right?
I
there.
truly feel like that might have to be a live episode. I feel like
yes.
I was gonna have to have multiple guests, because it's the when Dwayne takes her from the senator and start their life together. You've got all the heavy hitter guest stars. You've got so many things in that episode. I mean, Diana Carroll is a discussion to herself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it wasn't that like a season finale or what started like the next season or something, like it left off.
I think it was
a 2-part episode.
Yeah, it was 2 parts. I think it was the season 4 finale, either season 4 or season 5 finale. Because the next episode they come back is also a 2-part episode, and it deals with the Rodney King riots and their honeymoon.
Okay, so I'm definitely gonna go back into it and watch A Different World, just because like once I became Greek, if for some reason I think when I was aspiring to be Greek, it turned me off from the show because I wanted to be Black Greek so bad, and it was frustrating with my situation. And then when I became Greek, I was like, oh, well, I'm here now. I don't need this show. So, and these depictions are not true, So but then again, I didn't go to a HBCU either. So
there's an episode, one of the next episodes I'm doing is the episode where they stroll in front of Gilbert Hall, and then shortly thereafter there's the pledging episodes. And I was Greek, like I wasn't part of the Divine Nine. I chose an IFC fraternity, but still, like those are things that you're like, this doesn't ring true for my experience. But it was also written in the 80s. By a woman who was Greek in the like 50s and 60s, so like she had a different experience. She brought a different
absolutely. And that's one thing I do, just going back on the show, that's literally how the Black Greek experience was on Yard. It was a very significant part of being on campus. And that whole like showmanship of it. And so it really is. So if you need someone to come on that episode,
I'll check your
call
inbox.
me,
I got you.
darling. Call me, darling. Because like the probate experience, I was just having that conversation with a friend about that. And that was just a huge part of my, process and just being a member of the organization I'm in and just that coming out experience. It's a huge, part of, and it impacts you, I think, as a member of that organization. So
Oh, I
yes,
remember,
honey.
even though I wasn't part of the Divine Nine, like I remember sitting around with my friends and trying to guess who was going to come out,
Yes, yes,
and
yes,
like
yes.
being, because like my school was predominantly not black, so you could sort of guess who was going to come out, and like,
right,
like
right, like
when
the person
AK
who
and Isaiah.
disappears and then all of a sudden, yeah, I mean, it's a huge part of, a campus upbringing for any student, even if you never join a Greek organization, like seeing what, Greek life is like on campus, even for all organizations. It's a huge, beautiful thing because each Greek organization brings some aspect to that campus or that college experience for any student. I don't care who you are, you're going to have a Greek life experience with somebody. You're going to go to a Greek party, you're going to see a probate, you're going to see some people stroll on the yard, you're going to be a part of a community service and outreach experience, you're going to party at a house, whatever. So I'm going to wrap that up because I go on and on and on and on and on and on. I just celebrated 16 years. So yes, shout out to everybody in the Divine Nine. I love y'all. So thank you, Dwayne and Joe, for coming in. Please make sure you check out their podcast. And once again, let us know the name of your podcast and where we can find y'all.
Well, mine is the Living Life Show, and you can find it on Spotify. There, we got season 1 is uploaded there. We're going to start on season 2.
Okay, all right.
With
the pastor, DJ Pastor.
My sidecast is a different podcast. It's available everywhere that you want it to be. Spotify, Amazon, Apple, Anchor. That's where it is. You can find it on my website, DwayneDuke.com. And my main podcast is Catching Up with Dwayne. Catching Up with Dwayne comes out Fridays, returning Friday, April 15th, and a different podcast returns in early May. I believe it's May 2nd. It comes out every Sunday. So go to church, get your brunch, come home and listen to a different podcast. And let's let's end this weekend right.
Yes. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for stopping in. But before we go, I got to let you know, we got to highlight a comic. I love highlighting comics throughout the wonderful America, or like I like to call it, legato. I love just seeing comics push and persevere, especially after we went through this panty panorama, and just out here kicking butt. In this comic, I enjoy them. We get to have writing sessions together. I met her at a comedy festival. She's also a member of the Divine Nine. And with her flex, like she almost want to make me start doing a call because she's just so fly about it. So shout out to Sadiqa Scarlett. But I know she was in Atlanta. Now she's out in LA. So I just want to say, keep grinding and keep shining. You inspire, and I inspire to be you. You are a comics comic. Everybody loves you. You just have this personality about yourself and this attitude, this je ne sais quoi. And so just keep shining and grinding. So that is our highlighted comic here today on the Comedy Power Hour. Also, I got to let y'all know upcoming events coming to Kansas City because that is where I am based right now. So this weekend, the 16th through the 17th, I am featuring with Tony Woods at the Kansas City Improv. I am super excited. The legendary Tony Woods. He is hilarious. I feel like he is that uncle that everybody has that is just super relatable too. So make sure you come out. Let's do it. Bring your mask though. Also, we have the Tammy Tour April 22nd at the Kansas City Improv, as well as Damon Wayans Jr. April 23rd to the 25th. And oh my God, I can't wait. Bill Bellamy. Yes, Lord. April 30th through May 1st. Also, one of my favorite clubs in Kansas City. Boom, boom, boom. We got Adam Ray coming April 15th through the 17th at the Comedy Club of KC. Tom Papa coming through April 22nd through the 24th. And one of Kansas City's favorite and own, Miss Andrea Kaspari, who's coming the 28th, and she is going to be doing a dry taping for her taping at the Dry Bar. So I'm super excited for her. Pew, 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 pew. Make sure you go check it out. Also, Greg Fitzsimmons is coming back through the blazing. He's amazing. He's coming April 29th through May 1st. So local comedy is booming and banging. Also, make sure you check out all upcoming shows at Legends Comedy Club. It's Black owned and operated in Raytown. And also, shout out to Ace, who is flying and moving to, well, not moving, but going to Memphis to headline at the Comedy Joint, which is also a Black owned and operated comedy club in Memphis. He's going down there April 23rd. So make sure if you're in Memphis, check him out. He is hilarious. Check him out on all social media platforms as Bellies Do It Better. So before we go, you know what I have to do. I got to bless y'all with a benefit of laughter, because y'all know laughter is my all motto. Just laugh. You know, you got to just laugh to get through it. Just laugh to sometimes not nuck if you buck, and just, you know, laugh overall because it helps burn calories. It's healthy. So happiness. Let me tell you how to hack your body and, you know, stabilize it. You got to use dopamine, right? Dopamine, the reward chemical. So the laughter helps you exercise that body. It helps you motivate to complete a task, helps you with self-care activities. So motivating yourself, doing what you need to do, eating the correct types of food and celebrating types of wins. So it's the reward chemical. Anything you do, laughter will help increase that, baby. Also, it helps increase oxytocin, which is the love hormone. So this is all I'm saying. If you're single in a panty, laugh because you're single. Also, you made it through it. And secondly, it might help you find somebody. You know, it might help you channel that inner love being or love language that you need. So give somebody a compliment. Help somebody. Play with a baby. Play with a dog. Get tickled. You know what I'm saying? Come to a comedy show. Come to the Kansas City Improv. Come to the Comedy Club of Kansas City. Come to Legends Comedy Club. All I'm saying. Also, serotonin, mood stabilizer. Boom. If you laugh, you can meditate better. You can run better. You get better endorphins and better vitamin D exposure. Also, it just helps with other exercises that help with mood stabilizing. You ain't got to be crazy if you laugh, man. That's all I'm saying. You laugh at something, you're least likely to be a little unstable, if you know what I mean. Also, once again, it is an endorphin. It is a painkiller. Laughter is an exercise that helps with your body's overall pain. Also, you know, it can take your mind off of it, man. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is stimulate your mind. So all I'm saying is laughter is amazing. One of the things that can also help with, like I said, over and over, is exercising. So watch a comedy special, get some essential oils, and laugh. You know what I'm saying? You can have a whole holistic experience by just using your mouth. And that could go a lot of ways. But here at KUAW, we are a very clean radio station, and we just want to provide you with a little knowledge, understanding, and wisdom of what your body is capable of. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in today. I am Janell Banks, your host that does the absolute most. Make sure you follow me everywhere. Miss Just Laugh. I am here for you. Book me. Also book me. Book me. I can't stress enough. Please book me.
Book me.
I am vaccinated. Yes, book us all. We are definitely in the ministry of providing laughter. And we can do so much. We can host, we can MC, we can do podcasts, we can do graphic design, we can even bake cakes. We can, you know, we call it with the fondant. You know what I'm saying? So thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank you so much, Joe. Thank you so much, Dwayne. And also a special shout out to Mr. Walker. Without him, nothing is possible. We cannot run this radio station without you. Thank you for making all of our dreams come true. And thank y'all for tuning in today on the Comedy Power, which is brought to you by the Music and More Foundation. My name is Janell Banks. Bye.
Bye.